Our next story is about a man named Ron Campbell and his doctor, Jason Tarpley. Like me, Ron is a singer who finds joy and spiritual connection through music, even at the worst of times. Let's take a look.
Mark? We're all here on a journey, and we don't know where this journey is going to take us. My oldest son lived in Miami, Florida. He was a pedestrian, and he was struck by an individual driving under the influence. I immediately left and went to Miami, Florida, and I got there and I arranged his memorial service. Then that Friday, I experienced a ruptured brain aneurysm.
Ron actually was treated at the University of Miami. They did a great job, but if you can imagine, it was a really challenging situation emotionally for him. He was, he wasn't even at home.
So I made it back here, and my first night here, I did not have a good night. And my partner, she said, "I've got to get you to the hospital."
In stroke, time is brain. We know that when you're having an acute stroke, you lose about 2 million brain cells a minute. Even though aneurysms are really common, when they rupture, they kill about 50% of the patients before they even get to the hospital. For Ron, what we found was that his aneurysm was regrowing. And so we used another endovascular technology to treat Ron's aneurysm. And that technology is called flow diversion. It's a very tightly woven stent. You actually put that cloth tube into the artery that harbors the aneurysm, and the body incorporates that cloth tube into the artery, and the aneurysm is completely excluded from the blood flow. And we really have never seen regrowth of aneurysms with this. So this is really one of the futures of aneurysm treatment. As expected, his body incorporated the device into the artery, and it was as if the aneurysm was never there. It was completely gone.
I feel like the phoenix. I'm rising from the ashes of everything that's happened. I feel truly blessed to have met Dr. Tarpley and have him in my life, not only as a physician, but as a friend as well.
When you ask me, what's my dream for the future of St. John's, I'll tell you it's to bring even more cutting-edge therapies closer to home.
Well, it's tempting to say it was a huge stroke of luck landing Jason Tarpley as my doctor. Sorry, I couldn't resist that. But truthfully, I think the universe put me exactly where I needed to be. I never lost faith. I never thought it was the end of the road for me. However, the specifics of how my recovery was going to happen were a mystery until I found Dr. Tarpley. When we first met in the St. John's emergency room, he pulled up a seat and invited me to share my story about my son. He took the time to see all of me, the whole patient, not just my condition. Given everything that was happening, it meant the world to me to have this compassionate medical professional sit and really listen to what I had been through, both physically and emotionally. I'm the surviving member of my family. My parents are no longer alive. My only brother and 3 sisters are gone. But at St. John's, they treated me like family. You feel embraced and supported the moment you arrive. And it's not just the doctors, it's the reception staff, the volunteers, and the absolute stellar nurses. I want to give a shout out to the nursing staff. It's incredible. I don't really have words to express my gratitude for everybody that was involved in my care. It just comes down to the fact that at St. John's, I'm home. And I want to also just recognize my partner and soulmate, Deborah Jean Houle, who's been so instrumental in my life and in my recovery. I love you, dear.
Thanks, Fred. When someone's having a stroke, they are losing a part of their brain that is vital to making them who they are. It can be devastating. I was drawn to this area of medicine because you can see someone with really dramatic symptoms like complete inability to speak, complete inability to understand speech, paralysis of one side of the body. And with the right treatment, you can reverse these deficits. So even though it's demanding to be up doing a procedure at 2 in the morning, it's really rewarding to see those symptoms, those deficits melt away right in front of your eyes. When we started at St. John's 2 years ago, the goal was to build a world-class stroke program. I was confident I could do this because of St. John's, and the Pacific Neuroscience Institute in particular has truly brilliant and passionate doctors and nurses, and it was clear to me that I would be 100% supported in this mission. Since then, the health center has fully embraced the systems of care that we've set up, which has allowed us to rank among the absolute best stroke centers in the 5-state Providence system and save a lot of lives in the process. Thanks. It's been a fairy tale to be a part of this team with my fellow neurointerventionalists, Dr. Teitelbaum and Dr. Ho, our program manager, Renee Ovando, and to work alongside truly amazing St. John's neurosurgery doctors, ER docs, radiologists, hospitalists, and nurses. Our vision for the future is to bring our powerful treatments to an even larger community. We want to continue to deliver innovative therapy to patients like Ron, who are members of the Santa Monica and West Side community, but we also want to expand our services to our very close neighbors in nearby underserved communities, because everyone deserves access to cutting-edge treatment without having to travel further than necessary, risking losing minutes, which are vital to recovery. One way we hope to do this is with a critical care transport unit, which would bring patients in from our neighboring hospitals whose patients simply don't have ready access to these powerful therapies. Ron, thanks for sharing your story. As fascinating as the science is, it's our relationships with our patients that drive us to discover new treatments and find better ways to help. Thank you for trusting us, for your friendship, and for inspiring our dreams for the future of St. John's and Pacific Neuroscience Institute. Thank you all, and have a good night. Thanks, buddy. Love you, man.